Fiery Sansad showdown on vote chori. Vote theft by Election Commission stir on Delhi streets. India Bloc's united show of strength. Opposition MPs detained amid protest. BJP slams opposition for disrespect to EC.
इन दिनों में देश देख रहा है सबसे संविधान विरोधी काम कोई कर रहा है तो उसकी सरगना श्री राहुल गांधी जी हैं.
Biggest showdown this monsoon session. Opposition versus Election Commission. Top focus on 5 Live.
Good evening and welcome to 5 Live. Thank you very much for tuning in this morning as the week begins. In this packed show, we have top stories of the day. Stay tuned. We're going to tell you all that's happening across India and the world. I'm Pooja Shali. Let's begin. So just in case you missed, it was a stunning, dramatic morning. And I'm going to take you through what happened right outside the parliament. It was a united show of strength. Let's take you through all the latest visuals that have come in. The march was led by Leader of Opposition Rahul Gandhi but stopped midway. This was high drama. 300 opposition MPs, DMK, TMC, Congress of course, SP and other parties attempted to march to the Election Commission. The charge was a vote chori against EC and the government of the centre, led by LOP Rahul Gandhi.
परेशान हो रही हो यार, थोड़े से शॉट बाद में बना लेना.
Few meters into the march, it was soon blocked by the cops, saying permission has not been taken. Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, along with other India Bloc MPs, were detained and taken away in the buses. Detained MPs, as were being taken away, were also shouting slogans against EC and government of centre. Vote theft march that this was. This was the biggest highlight. Look closely. Samajwadi Party leader Akhilesh Yadav jumping over not one but two barricades that were imposed by the Delhi police to stop the march. He fell from the second barricade, but clearly this was one image that became a stunning highlight. Opposition MPs Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, Dimple Yadav, KC Venugopal, Mahua Moitra and others were seen chanting slogans while sitting on the road after being stopped by police barricades at the transport tower. TMC MP Mahua Moitra even reportedly fainted while was being detained by the police. There was Rahul Gandhi, fellow MP, in the bus, assisting her, helping her. She was being offered water. And this was after Mitali Bagh also fainted during the march. Sloganeering, chanting, chaos and commotion followed by detention. The sit-in protest was clearly the biggest Sansad showdown we have seen between the opposition and the Election Commission, but also against the government of the centre in a long time. The charge was about Election Commission allegedly and the voter fraud list that they are attempting in. More in this report, what exactly happened.
The face-off between the opposition and the Election Commission played out on the streets of Delhi on Monday. Escalating the showdown over the special intensive revision of voter list in Bihar, which will soon be implemented across the country. India Bloc MPs took out a march from Parliament to the Election Commission headquarters. But the protest led by leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi was blocked by Delhi police. Despite the police barriers, several MPs, including SP Chief Akhilesh Yadav, scaled the barricades. Some protesters, including TMC MP Mahua Moitra, fainted. The police later detained several MPs, foiling their march.
ये जो लड़ाई है ये राजनीतिक नहीं है, ये कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन की लड़ाई है, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को बचाने की लड़ाई है, वन मैन वन वोट की लड़ाई है। इसीलिए हमें साफ प्योर वोटर लिस्ट चाहिए।
डरे हुए हैं, कायर हैं, सरकार कायर है।
The government hit back at the opposition, calling the allegations of rigging baseless.
ईवीएम के ऊपर झूठ बोलते हैं, कभी महाराष्ट्र की बात उठाते हैं, कभी हरियाणा की बात उठाते हैं, झूठ की वो एक नया पहाड़ बनाते हैं।
रोज रोज एक मुद्दे को लेकर के पार्लियामेंट का समय बर्बाद करना, ये हम लोग इस तरीके के जो समय बर्बाद करने के लिए देश का समय और संसद का समय बर्बाद करने के लिए हम नहीं देंगे, इसलिए महत्वपूर्ण बिल हम पारित करेंगे।
With assembly elections in Bihar approaching, the stakes are high and the standoff between the opposition and the Election Commission is far from over. With Piyush Mishra, Bureau Report, India Today.
Approximately 300 members of parliament and a united show of strength. Let's find out from my colleague on the ground, Rahul Gautam, who closely tracks the Congress party and the India Bloc, what exactly happened. Rahul, so can we say that this was in many ways the day that belonged to Rahul Gandhi, because it was he was the one leading it, not as just a cause but also the march. But what do you think is the result of this? The manner in which this protest has been organized, will it yield any results? Because the Election Commission has said, where's the evidence?
Well, as far as the opposition bloc is concerned, it is clearly up in arms against Election Commission, and they are saying that they've been successfully able to create a narrative that it is Election Commission, that is hiding something under the guise of the election documents. Because as far as Rahul Gandhi is concerned, this time he came out with the particular addresses, names, pictures, and photographs, and therefore the evidence that he had put out is absolutely in black and white, and therefore it is imperative upon Election Commission to either refute or accept these claims, because whatever Rahul Gandhi is claiming, he is claiming on the basis of election documents. See, I must tell our viewers that what's going to be the future course of action now. We all know that today, led by Rahul Gandhi, they took out a march, although they were halted, but again, they chanted slogans against government, they were detained, and they've been trying to say that this is happening at the behest of the BJP, which is not allowing the real truth to come out, and therefore Delhi police was instructed not to allow this protest to happen. Now at 7:30, all the India Bloc MPs, that's close to 300 MPs, 240 from Lok Sabha and 60 from Rajya Sabha, they are going to be hosted by Mallikarjun Kharge, who is the leader of opposition in Rajya Sabha, and you can expect that now the another round's strategy would be
Stay on
chalked
with
out
me,
at
Rahul.
this
Let's
meeting.
try and understand the strategy from the Election Commission as well. Closely tracking the EC and the government is my colleague Aishwarya Paliwal. Aishwarya, the EC is also defiant. EC is saying these are baseless charges, and I believe there was supposed to be a delegation invited. The delegation hasn't gone. In your view, how do you think the government and the EC will defend this one? Because the charge also is very serious.
Well, Pooja, what we understand at the moment, and this is what the BJP also has very clearly said, that this is something which is between the opposition and the Election Commission of India, which is a constitutional body. The government has made it very clear this is not something which will be discussed on the floor of the parliament.
Okay.
They said, who will come and respond? Will you call the Election Commission? Will you call the commissioner to respond? That is a constitutional body. That is something which is not possible. The Election Commission on its part is saying that these names, that's close to 1 lakh names which are given out by Rahul Gandhi, it's like finding a needle in the haystack for the Election Commission, because they do not know what exactly in which states and who are these people. So with regards to the details, that's why we are seeing different CEOs, be it the Karnataka CEO, the UP CEO, be it CEOs of other states as well. All of them are writing to Rahul Gandhi and saying that we have given you a format, sign in that format and give us the details, only then can a formal investigation begin. So a tug of war of sorts is going on between the leader of the opposition, Rahul Gandhi, and the Election Commission. Pooja, it seems like this is something which will continue like this because Rahul Gandhi clearly, even today, said that he's not going to sign
Stay
any
on with
paper
me,
and will not be
Aishwarya.
giving.
Rahul, then what do you think is the strategy of the Congress here? Because eventually it boils down to evidence. Election Commission will say, why is the onus on us to prove anything when it doesn't even happen? How do you think the Congress will take this ahead? Is this going to be a one-day scene right now? There are a few days to go for monsoon session. Because the government, especially Kiran Rijiju, the Parliamentary Affairs Minister, said, but the opposition doesn't want to discuss anything. They only want to level charges.
Pooja, you can say that the issue of this alleged voter list manipulation and SIR, they have become a sort of a rallying point for opposition parties to come together. And remember, parties like TMC and Aam Aadmi Party were essentially not part of India Bloc. Even they participated in this protest march. So clearly, Rahul Gandhi is able to bring all the opposition parties under one roof, under one issue. That's voter list manipulation. And remember, when he hosted these leaders at his residence, he gave a PowerPoint presentation, a briefing, a comprehensive discussion took place at his residence. So clearly, he is able to convince the other opposition parties as well that this vote chori or the alleged theft of mandate is happening in the country. Now, the future course of future strategy of India Bloc would certainly be to to corner the government inside the house, outside the house, and you can expect that this issue will be echoing once Parliament will be commencing from 18th of August. And one thing is very important here, Pooja, that Rahul Gandhi has already made it very clear that I am a public representative. I am a leader of opposition. Whatever I say, I am bound by my oath, which I have taken. So clearly, my word is as sacred as my oath. So clearly, the onus, they are shifting onus on the Election Commission, saying that we are only citing your data. Why don't you come and give a point-by-point rebuttal to all the allegations that Rahul Gandhi
I want
is
to take
making?
that question to Aishwarya as well. Aishwarya, help me understand. Election Commission hasn't said, okay, we'll take this into cognizance. We'll try and investigate if there is any malpractice that's happening. How is the Election Commission going ahead to say this is all political? This is showdown. This has nothing to do, and they're casting a doubt on Election Commission. My concern is because it's Bihar, upcoming elections. And how will the EC then say it's all clear and fair?
Claims and objections, Pooja, let me tell you, we get daily updates of the claims and objections that have been filed since the 1st of August. And let me tell you, every day we hope that there will be some political party, because we are seeing such a big showdown taking place outside the parliament, inside the parliament also. But political parties, almost 15 of them, none of them have filed claims and objections. Other people, of course, some of them have filed it. But when we speak about officially filing complaints against the SIR, against the process, against the names that have come back, it's a big zero with regards to Bihar. So that's what the Election Commission now is pointing towards, that even though you do the protest, you do the march, when we speak about, when we speak to you, when we ask you to give us official details, why is it that still now, almost 10 days have passed, none of the official parties, none of the political parties have officially filed claims and objections in the state of Bihar?
All right, Aishwarya and Rahul Gautam, appreciate you joining us for all the latest on that, and we'll keep tracking if the showdown will go to the next day, and tomorrow will we see similar scenes or not. I'm going to now tell you about one case that possibly concerns and connects every state right now in the country, and that's about the stray dogs. Some call it menace, some say it's about animal rights. But the Supreme Court has now directed all stray dogs, listen carefully, all stray dogs in Delhi NCR, which means including Noida and Gurugram, need to be picked up within 8 weeks, housed in dedicated dog shelters and be sterilized. But importantly, the court has added, anyone, organization or individual trying to obstruct this exercise will also be penalized. Why did the court finally take a cognizance on the stray dog menace, as many call it, and what is going to be the implementation aspect of it? A special report.
One of urban India's scariest menaces, stray dogs, often rabid, stalking, biting, mauling people, especially kids, leading to countless cases of rabies deaths and permanent disfigurements. Now, Supreme Court, taking cognizance, has come to the rescue of Delhi, the epicenter of stray attacks. The apex court has made it clear stray dogs in Delhi NCR must be shifted away from residential localities. Civic bodies have been directed that all stray dogs in Delhi NCR should be picked up within 8 weeks and housed in dedicated dog shelters. Top court instructed municipal bodies and other agencies to work in coordination to create adequate shelter facilities. Supreme Court also instructed that no stray dog should be released back onto the streets once housed in a shelter. In a stern warning, Supreme Court also asserted that if any person or organization comes in the way of picking up stray dogs, action will be taken against them.
We finally urge Honorable Supreme Court, Delhi Government, NCD and Animal Welfare Board of India to take strictly enforcement legislations and rabies vaccinations. Increase public awareness about responsibility, waste management and coexistence. Improve shelter infrastructure only for truly aggressive or unwell dogs.
This landmark Supreme judgment comes as dog bites claim 60,000 lives every year across India. The Supreme Court verdict can play a key role in India's battle against the bite. Bureau Report, India Today.
So here's what has happened. The Supreme Court this morning, the two-judge bench, gave out this historic verdict in an order in many ways because this has been a concern across many states. Now, the reason that the court took a suo motu cognizance of this was because of a child who died recently. There have been deaths like we have seen not just in Delhi NCR but other states as well because of rabies. A lot of people had raised complaints about it, but there's always been a debate between whether it's animal lovers and those who've either been bitten or suffered because of these pack of dogs hounding at them. And right now it appears 8 weeks, dogs will be off the streets of Delhi NCR. I want to bring in our legal correspondent, Anisha Mathur. Anisha, this appears to be an order of an immediate capture, but tell us precisely what are 2 to 3 guidelines, what have been given out, what are we expecting in the next 8 weeks? And the big question, do we have the infrastructure, the system to take care of so many, possibly hundreds if not thousands of dogs?
Well, Pooja, to answer your last question first, we've been talking to animal rights activists, we've been talking to people connected to the government, and across the board they are saying we do not currently have the infrastructure, we do not currently have the land or the shelters to house the dogs that we are picking up even now. I was just speaking to an animal rights, animal welfare board member who said that Delhi only has 20 ABC shelters run by the municipal corporation, which only has space to keep about 20 to 30 dogs at a time, sterilize them and send them back. Now, since we do not have any more shelters, the big question is how exactly is this order of the court going to be implemented? Because remember, the court also was informed that their order is something that goes against the Animal Welfare Board of India rules, because the rules clearly say that dogs have to be picked up, sterilized and sent back to where they were picked up from. Justice Pardiwala, when he was informed about this rule, said, forget about the rules for now. The issue is serious because it is children's lives at stake. How will you answer the parents whose child has been attacked? That was the observation from the Supreme Court during this hearing. But as the court has directed the government now, let's look at what the directions are. First of all, do a census of the dogs, create shelters big enough to house up to 5,000 dogs within 8 weeks. Thirdly, create this infrastructure required, that is vans, trained personnel, veterinarians who will capture, sterilize, and then maintain these dogs. Now, we've seen the Solicitor General who was appearing in the court also telling the court that, well, there was a proposal a few years ago to build a larger shelter. A land was identified, but then that went nowhere. So the big question really is, the court has passed these directions, but are they even implementable? The animal rights activists and the
tell me
board
that,
says no.
Anisha, because I believe that there's been a child death as well and others as well who've died because of either rabies or the attacks, even the elderly. So do you think that is the cognizance that court has taken? What is the reason that court believes that now is the time to at least take a stringent measure? And number two, do we see these dogs back on the streets of Delhi after 8 weeks? Or is that going to be a permanent relocation somewhere in some shelter?
See, Pooja, first of all, let's look at why this matter was taken up. The Supreme Court took suo moto cognizance in July of a newspaper report which talked about almost 20 to 30,000 dog bites across the country and particularly in Delhi NCR. Then there was a news report about a child who was attacked by a dog and then died because of that dog bite attack. That is what prompted the Supreme Court bench to take up the suo moto petition. What is unfortunate, however, is that we do not have specific data. If you look at the affidavit that has been filed by the amicus curiae in this matter as well, he's also quoting the newspaper report of 30,000 plus dog bite cases. Whether that newspaper report was correct or not, whether there's any official government data, we do not know. And I specifically asked the amicus if we have any data, and he said, well, we are waiting for that data to come. As far as your second question is concerned, the court has said, pick up all the dogs, take them to a shelter. But at the moment, Delhi does not have a shelter. Delhi does not have the vans required to pick up the dogs. And Delhi certainly does not have any place where we'll put these dogs till the shelter is going to be built. So in the next 8 weeks, whether or not any of these orders will be implemented in the
And I just have a quick question, because I know some of the viewers have sent me that question. Why just for Delhi NCR? Some of them are asking, it's happening in their states, their respective areas as well. Can that be implemented, or do you think that will be a separate legal battle? So why Delhi NCR specifically?
See, as I said, that this suo moto petition was specifically taken up because of a newspaper report about a case that happened in Delhi NCR. There are other matters pending in the court regarding stray dog bites in Kerala, for example. There are other matters for other states as well. And in those also, the courts have passed directions to pick up, sterilize, and return the dogs. Because remember, at the end of it, the AWBI rules very clearly say that you cannot keep a dog in the shelter unless they are extremely aggressive or they are dying.
But this is clearly a huge directive that has come in, unprecedented in many ways, especially that the manner in which... and that it shouldn't face any sort of hindrance as well. I have to say, this may turn political as well. I know that if there's one member of parliament, it's Karti Chidambaram, who's consistently spoken about how this has become a menace, and that even animal rights activists need to come in here and understand this is proving to be fatal for many, and not just in Delhi NCR, in Tamil Nadu and other states as well. And perhaps can this order be taken ahead? Will others want the court to push this ahead? We'll be tracking more on that, on what the stray dog issue has been across the country. He's Pakistan's army chief. He's Field Marshal Asim Munir, and issuing a shocking nuclear threat against India. But that's not the point. The point is he made that point from United States of America, from the American soil, or so to say a friendly country, as much with regard to India, and the threat that impacts the rest of the world too. A dangerous rhetoric. Why was it allowed? What was said? And what India has to say about it? Here's a report.
Pakistan still reeling under Operation Sindoor blow. And now its army chief's nuclear threat to India from American soil has triggered shockwaves. Field Marshal Asim Munir did not just target India. He threatened the world, saying if Pakistan faced an existential threat from India, it will take half the world down with it, using nukes. Munir did not stop there. He threatened missile strikes on Indian dam over the Indus River, claiming the river was not India's property. In a shocking analogy, Munir compared India to a Mercedes speeding like a Ferrari, while calling Pakistan a gravel-filled dump truck, asking who really gets hurt in a crash. Munir, while quoting Islamic verses, claimed that leading Indian industrialist Mukesh Ambani could be a target in any future war.
India will have to fight Pakistan state-sponsored radical Islamist terror alone because America will look after Donald Trump's interests. Right now, America is not even looking after its own interests. America will look after Donald Trump's interests. China will look after its own interest and use Pakistan against India. All of this is being done to stem India's spectacular rise, which is what India is aiming to do, is rise as a strong power, as a strong economic power, as a strong military power. And there will be all methods used, including using Pakistan, like it has happened for the past several decades, to stem India's rise.
India slammed the remarks as reckless, dangerous and globally destabilizing. MEA said Pakistan is using soil of a friendly country to target India. India termed nuclear threat as Pakistan's favorite playbook. It also asked the global community to take note of the threat, where Pakistan nukes can fall in hands of Pakistan army-linked terror groups. India made it clear that it will not give in to nuclear blackmail and take all steps to safeguard national security. And now the critical question, will the United States act against a nuclear threat issued from its own soil? Especially when US President Donald Trump has been vocal in stopping nuclear escalation? As the Pakistan mask slips again, world is witnessing a rogue military in control, a democracy in name, and nuclear weapons in dangerous hands. Pakistan's threats are no longer regional, they are global. The question is, who will act before it's too late? With Gaurav Sawant, Bureau Report, India Today.
So just listen in again to what Asim Munir said, and I just want to reiterate and remind our viewer that any such statement that he had made which was provocative in nature, barely days after that, the Pahalgam massacre had happened. So of course the agencies also need to be a lookout on if these statements are going to create any trouble, and we better be prepared. We are a nuclear nation, says Field Marshal Asim Munir. If we go down, half the world goes too. It's not even about India. He's even saying we would gladly take other countries down as well. Shouldn't other countries respond to this too? We have no shortage of missiles. Who boasts about missiles and their equipment like this, especially ammunition, which could be destructive in nature, when a government of a country like Pakistan is literally hand in gloves with the terror groups? Indus River is not India's property. It is India's kindness all these decades that we did not hamper with the Indus Water Treaty till the Pahalgam massacre. Will hit India's dam with 10 missiles, is what Asim Munir, Pakistan Army Chief, has said. Now, what's more concerning is, remember, Pakistan's leadership, ISI members as well, and the Army Chief have been making these statements. But to make it from American soil, for America to allow it to happen and not counter it, that perhaps is more concerning. Our editor, India Today Global, joining me for the latest on that. Pranay, what should one make of the whole sequence of events here? What Asim Munir has said, because it's not India to be scared of, but I believe that it speaks as much about the USA.
Pooja, the famous saying about Pakistan is that Pakistan is being run by 3 A's, Allah, America and Army. And whenever Army gets the support of America, nobody knows about the Allah. But at least whenever Pakistani Army gets support of America, they try and like, you know, they start flying and they start getting out of their boots. Clearly, this clearly shows that, you know, how Pakistani Army Chief is like, trying to woo the US administration, how often he started traveling to United States. He's always looking for a reason to travel to United States. But in this, this occasion, he made it a point. He was speaking to a Pakistani diaspora. It was a Chatham House, rule-based gathering where people were asked not to record the event, but as the news travels, whatever he said during that closed-door meeting, that was a black tie event. In that event, he spoke all these things, which are specifically of concern for India, and he actually, he spit venom against India with all these statements, and that to be from a US soil. You see the statement issued by the Government of India, Ministry of External Affairs, clearly called out this thing. This is a duality. This is hypocrisy, because on one side, if US administration is so concerned about South Asia becoming a flashpoint, especially post Operation Sindoor, the kind of statement given by the US administration, what happened now? Why there is so conspicuous silence? Why there is no statement from the United States on this speech of Pakistani Army Chief Field Marshal Asim Munir? And especially as far as the nuclear boogie is concerned, India has always called out the Pakistan's nuclear boogie, be it 1999 Kargil to Operation Sindoor. We know how to deal with Pakistan and its nuclear arsenal. But on the other side, it is for the world to see how carelessly, carelessly...
quoting from what India also has maintained, that using a friendly soil to target us, using the soil of America to target not just India, remember, and when you say half of the world goes down with us, that's a global threat, not just a regional one. Using friendly soil, also referring to the dangerous remarks that have come in. And remember, for a country like Pakistan, he's not just an army chief. Unlike India, in Pakistan, it is the military that often takes political decisions too, at least with regard to backdoor big appointments. Pranay, I return to you on this. How do you see India's responses in the past few days? Ever since Operation Sindoor, there's been a certain tone that the External Affairs Ministry, that the Indian government has taken, not just vis-a-vis Pakistan, but also the USA. Let's talk about that.
As far as India's stand is concerned, Pooja, you know that India is there. India has taken all the steps to ensure its national security interest, be it Operation Sindoor or be it calling out Pakistan's nuclear boogie. We know that how successfully India carried out Operation Sindoor, and even, Pakistan army bases, Pakistan's air bases as deep as Sargodha were hit, and even the Kirana Hill, which is so-called the nuclear arsenal base of Pakistan. So India has already demonstrated its capacity and its capability to hit hard in Pakistan, deep inside its territory whenever it is required. But on the other side, that as we were talking about the issue of the global community, if global community is so concerned about South Asia becoming a nuclear flashpoint, then they should call out, they should reprimand Pakistan army chief for these kind of statement, and that to be coming out from the, as you rightly pointed out, from a friendly nation's soil. If he has misused the US soil, and we know whenever he speaks, remember Pooja, he spoke to Pakistani diaspora in Islamabad on 16th of April, and just few days after that, on 22nd of April, we saw the dastardly Pahalgam terror attack. So, again, he was speaking, he was addressing the Pakistani diaspora on a US soil, and he spoke all these things. Taking half of the world down, this is way too serious a thing to be overlooked by the global community. And also, whatever he said about India, be the Indus war, Indus water treatment, or be the destroying the Indian dams. This is way too serious a threat.
That's a good point, Pranay, that you're making. This isn't just about India, because more than India, when an army chief in a powerful position in Pakistan says we'll take the half of the world down with us, it better be where other countries also respond, including the USA, with such threats coming in. It's not just regional, it's as much global. Appreciate you joining us, Pranay Upadhyay, with this big news coming in. And for those who may be wondering, not the first time that USA has shown this kind of alliance or friendship to Pakistan. It has happened for several decades. India has stood tall, nevertheless. A Chinese Navy vessel has collided with one from its own Coast Guard while chasing a Philippines patrol boat in the South China Sea. This has led to certain tensions as well. Look at that. This video has been released by Manila, showing a China Coast Guard ship and a much larger vessel bearing the number 164 on its hull colliding with a loud crash. The reported collision is the latest in a series of confrontations between China and the Philippines, and it's in the South China Sea. So it basically reflects the kind of tensions we are looking at right now, leading to such kind of confrontations, accidents, or of course the crashes. Beijing claims almost entirely, this is despite an international ruling, that the assertion has no legal basis. So while the international ruling has said that China's assertion stands no legal ground, however, with the South China Sea. They want to claim the territory primarily, even if the water is theirs. And that's why between China and the Philippines, this has been a concern. Look at that visual again, just to tell you what exactly happened. This was a Chinese Navy vessel colliding with one from its own Coast Guard while chasing a Philippines patrol boat in the South China Sea. And that is a reminder of what China really has been about. Whether it's in the waters, on the land, it is about its expansionist nature. And right now it's Philippines that they are in confrontation with. So we'll be tracking all that and more. On that note, I'm wrapping up the 5 Live. Thank you very much for watching.